Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another tutorial of another Myst Ryft tutorial of sorts. So, our pickaxe or our sword leveled up during the night because we were besieged by creepers, and we spent most of the night turning gravel into um, into materials. I told you guys I'd bring you back. I think I've got enough, but I'm gonna make a few chests real quick to be able to store all my ores into. This is what I was talking about, though, about saying, you know, you're gonna have plenty of stuff that you're gonna need to store, right? Because this is we're gonna sort this so that I look and I go aluminum, gold, iron. Cool. Okay. We're gonna take iron, we're gonna shmam it into that. I'm gonna come over here and grab the lapis, the flint, crushed iron, and I think we have powdered iron? There's copper, iron. Put the powder, yeah, powder's over here. So essentially what we're doing here is we're going to be turning these powders. If you just smelt them, they just give you one each. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be hammering them, which will give us extra. You can see we've got 33 here. That gives us sand, which these again only smelt down into one. So essentially we turn 7 into 9, which I mean isn't bad. Isn't bad at all. So we're going to smelt those. Throw our ores back in here, along with the flint and the lapis, because that's where they go. The gravel to represent the gravel chest. Now we need to get cobblestone, I believe, is where we're at. So, well, that's just smelting away. We need a total of, I believe it was 8 to get a single presser. So we're going to go get some cobblestone, because we're going to need a lot of cobblestone. Now, eventually, you will have your own way to make cobblestone, because eventually, once you get far enough in, you'll be able to make a cobblestone generator, an item interaction tool, and you know all sorts of other really cool stuff. To where effectively you can have infinite cobblestone, which then you can throw through like a pulverizer or a few other tools, which will basically give you unlimited access to any of the materials, so long as you're willing to manually put them through a sieve. That being said, though, that's probably not something we're going to cover, because right now we're going to try and get paper. Once we have paper, then we'll go from there, but right now we just need to try and get paper. So we're going to come up here. Oh, I only have a singular piece of redstone. Okay. Let's sand uses. Looking for... There we go. So this one, it's dust then, isn't it? Okay. It's kind of one of the things that can happen, unfortunately. Now, if you're not completely conscious about your like inventory just going flying, you can do this right here. Once you have a bed, which I'm going to go ahead and make right now because I've got the wool for it. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yep. Yep. And slap a bed down. Oh yeah, it's not night. So I'm going to put up the iron, pick up the sand, put the hammers on our inventory bar. And effectively we're just going to start right up on top of this, and we're just... Where? Skeletons are rather annoying in this pack, so just be warned. If I can do this. Sure enough, I can. Alright, so if you hold Vein Miner against sand, it'll auto-turn all the sand into dust, so that'll save us some time. Eats up your tool pretty quickly, but to get this presser, which we're going to skip the presser for just right now, because we got some more sugarcane finally grew, so we've got enough to be able to make at least, I think, a page. Look at how many free sugarcane make. Okay, so 3 pages, which is really all you need. And then you need to get those glass bottles we made, which I'm horribly disorganized. Or wait, no, we don't need to use those. We can ink sacks, bookbinder, mixer, leather, bottles. Okay, you're gonna take the bottles. Right now, we're gonna toss these in here. I will. Alright. We're going to put them in here. Ink. Make ink. Dink, dink. Make ink. Alright, and then the next step is to get the... You can see what I was talking about kind of running out of room. I'm just trying to be as compact as possible so everything's right here that we need. So we're going to take this, we're going to put these in here, we're going to plop some paper in it. This is the ink mixer, by the way. You can throw stuff into here, and then when you pull out this linking panel, you'll need 2 of them, minimum. Then you're going to go here, you're going to slap a piece of leather in here, throw your linking panel in there, and this is going to create your first Myst book. So we're going to call it My First World. I'm gonna pull that out. Now, you want one way home. Or you don't want it to be a one-way trip, so you want a way home. So we're gonna take a piece of leather and a linking panel, make an unlinked book. We're gonna make it like it's just a bad dream if we get trapped, if we're not trapped there. So we're just gonna click that, put the sand up, pick up our sword and some wood. Come over here. 2 things are going to happen. We're going to make some sticks. We're going to take a plank. You're going to do just like this. You need 2 of them. It's going to give you 2 book stands. Now, books are susceptible to water, so you have to keep that in mind. Your book can be killed. So, what we've done is we'll put our book here. This is My First World. We're going to pick up some generic wood real quick. To basically build a safety hut just in case we randomized Moo Moo Farms, which is ever so fun, just throwing that one out there. And we're going to essentially leave everything else behind. So the idea here is that we're going to right click on this, and you'll notice it's black because we've never traveled to it before, and we're going to travel to it. And this is your first Myst world. By clicking on the black spot, you're essentially traveling through the Myst world. Now, upon traveling through the Myst world, what it's going to do, if you're on a server, it's going to generate an entirely new world. If you're on single player, your game's going to lock up between 1 to 5 minutes, depending on how powerful your computer is. If you're on a server, it'll probably lock up for about 30 to 45 seconds. And I say this because, for some odd reason, it processes faster on server. Oh, dear God. So that's a thing that can happen, hence why traveling to Myst Worlds is kind of dangerous. At least for a randomized Myst World. So, I'm going to go ahead and opt myself, because what's going to happen here, effectively these guys are going to kill me probably over and over and over again. So we're going to go ahead and prevent that, and we're going to see if our book burned up, which I've got a feeling it did. Yep, it did. There's our swords over here. So, yep, our beautiful Myst world. This is what we generated. Now, every Myst world, somewhere in it, has a star fissure. Star fissures are how you can get home. However, that being said, there is no way in the world to know exactly where it spawned at. So this would effectively be what I would call a Battle Dome world. Effectively, these kind of worlds are very, very bad. Honestly, you kind of hope that you don't ever spawn one of these. But that's the exact reason, though, that we didn't bring anything of rarity with us. Legitimately, that's why we brought nothing. Because you can see how, like, it's nothing but negative mobs. Infinite source of lava, if you have a way to legitimately burn that, or to use this. But you can get stuck in an infinite death loop. And I don't say that jokingly. Like, you can legitimately get stuck in an infinite death loop. I forget if this trick works in creative. There used to be a way you could, basically, if you're on creative and you get stuck, you dug down far enough, you eventually fall out of the world. Yeah, no. Well, then we're gonna have to go a different way. STAR. But this is the exact reason you don't do these without a friend. Because at least if you get stuck in the infinite death loop, there is a chance, a very slim chance, that you can pull all the mobs. Black ink. These are the pages. That's not what I'm looking for. Oh, don't tell me they removed it as a spawnable block. Well, then we will we'll go about this a different way. we're literally just going to go to another random world where effectively we can search for a star fissure and maybe have one spawn near us. Come on, world. You can load it anytime. Market crash. And this is kind of why I'm recording these live, though, is try and show you guys an idea of, you know, like some of the stuff you can get yourself into. Like this is what's basically a super forest. This world's not bad, but again, we're not looking for that. We're not looking for not bad. We're looking for a way home. Like this world, all in all, wouldn't be too terrible if it weren't for the fact that we don't have a way home. Yep. What is it called? Alright, so there is a teleport function, which I'm now going to have to look up. Stuck in Myst World. There's a teleport function that I'm going to have to... X. If you're playing on a server that is running this mod pack, that's a code your mods should know. Your admin should know. So yeah, so this is day 6. You can see kind of why going into Myst Worlds is dangerous. But that's the general principle. Also, if you have a book that you really don't like and want to get rid of it, throw it into the water, and then beat it. It will eventually die. Just like that. That world has been removed. Most worlds, I will be honest, are not nearly that harsh. Most are more like the second one that you saw. However, that being said, that is unfortunately a risk that you take going into Myst Worlds. For my players who are on my server, if you ever find yourself trapped in a situation like that where you get basically gypped by the game, let me know. I will fix it. I do not encourage you guys in any way, shape, or form to go through Myst Worlds by yourself. Ever. For that exact reason. You should always have a buddy. Travel in pairs, or know that when you're going, you may be trapped there forever. So, that being said, we're going to go ahead and end this one here, guys, and I'll bring you guys back once we have the press... Meow! Okay, it wants food. I put up his fish. I'm sorry, cat. Where did I put your food? Am I out of cat food? Am I just like missing it? Maybe out of cat food. But so, like I said, with that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end this episode here, and I will bring you guys back once we have... Well, honestly, there's not a whole lot more for me to show you guys. That's the basics. From there, everything else should be kind of exploring. The only thing I kind of want to show you guys is something that's not self-explanatory. And it's only not self-explanatory if you don't do research on it. If you don't do any research, then it's not self-explanatory. But you remember how we marked that field of Ethereum? Well, we're going to go back to it. We're going to take our item frame and our book, the basic book, which we technically could have turned into pages for the Myst Ryft if you really wanted to. I don't personally recommend it, but you can do it. Because books are, unless you happen to spawn with a world, or with a town nearby, they can be kind of rough. But what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to essentially show you guys how to get started in Ars Magica. If I can get this to work, thank you. And then from there, you guys will be off to the races. So the very first thing you're going to have to do is create an Ars book. The Ars book is essentially your link to the magical plane. Without it, you cannot do anything Ars Magica. Just like technically without Thaumcraft, without finding the books and resources that you need, you cannot do anything with Thaumcraft. So, here's how you get your Ars book. Go near a Ethereum pool, which is these giant white pools. Place your item frame, and then place your book in the item frame. What you will see, these little things here if you have particles turned on, and then, bada bing, bada boom, your book appears. Always pick back up your item frame, and now you have unlocked the secrets of Arcane. So there you go, guys. I mean, that's effectively everything that you need to know to get started in this mod pack. If you guys have any questions, feel free to either leave them below. If you're part of my Discord, feel free to ask me. I have absolutely no qualms answering questions about Myst Ryft. There's so much in this mod pack, I don't expect you guys to know or, want to do everything in it. But if you guys have a question and want to know, hey, how do I do da-da-da-da-da? Just ask. Just ask, or even better, Google. Like, Google is always a great thing. Like, I can't understand how to get past stone level. How do I do that? Well, maybe Google some of the mods that you know. Like, for instance, Tinker's Construct, Ex Nihilo. You've been able to see those things. They're intended to give you hints on how to get past, right? So that's where I would start, is going, okay, I get past that by looking for these things. Or if I can't get past it, maybe there's something in the Arcane I can do. Because sometimes, literally, Arcane is the way to go. Like, occasionally there are things where the Arcane is legitimately your best way to go. So, but with that, guys, I'm going to leave this little tutorial series here, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Later.